Otepsin when I senut iti then isha can do kemet. Let me check the sound. Otepsin when I senut iti then isha can do kemet. Let me check the sound. All right, I had to do this again because there was too much disturbance, too much noise. Now it's okay. So you will see why I entitled this video The University of Amen. This might be considered some sort of follow-up to yesterday's conversation with Dr. Jai Issa regarding Dr. Campbell's critique of the book The Origin of the Word Amen. Now, I was at one point accused of not reading the rebuttal or the response of Dr. Jai Issa and Dr. Salim Faraji to Dr. Campbell's critique. So at one point you can hear me say, and that's yesterday's video for those who don't know, that I have actually read it. But I stated more than once that I'm not psychic and I cannot guess that some PDF exists about any topic whatsoever, especially if it's not presented as such, because people like to do, well, you need to do some research, you know. Let me show you what I mean. Well, I will go back. I will go back. Is it sharing now? Yeah, so if I go back, and back again, and back again, and back again. There it is. That's the website of the book, The Origin of the Word Amen, right? That's actually the home page. So when you scroll down, I found out about this website only because I was looking for a picture of the book. And that's the picture that I used, as you can see. Now here it says, why read The Origin of the Word Amen? I could have not even have a look at this, you know. And here, I mean, yeah, it's the same. The only difference is that this is a URL that opens in a new page. Then underneath it says download for free our Amani paper on the origin of the word Amen. And here it opens in the same page. And that's where you can see University of Amen, LLC, Amani paper, advancing traditions through innovation. Okay. Now, this is actually the response to Dr. Campbell's article. It's not even presented as such. It's not titled as such, but that's fine. So this attempt, you know, in terms of accusation, doesn't hold much weight. And of course, since I've established that I have read the response, then of course I was told, well, you need to read the book, you should read the book, and so on. But I had to remind that it was not my critique, it was Dr. Campbell's critique. And eventually, when I asked, am I not allowed to read a critique, even though the response was kind of sarcastic, he replied, yeah, you have the right to do whatever you want, but in academia and all that. Okay. So now let's look at the University of Amen. So University of Amen, LLC. You put that in any search engine, and the first result is West Africa Beyond. Yesterday, I was looking for the name of the website, but I couldn't remember. So when you click on it, there it is. The URL is westafricabeyond.org. But as you can see, that's the University of Amen. I refresh the page, you see the logo, University of Amen. And when you go to presenters and you scroll down, who do we have here? Asaim Hotep. What is he labeled as? Software developer. Isn't it strange? Because for years he went around presenting himself as a linguist. And he attacked quite a few people for questioning his false flagging. There's another website where he couldn't just put up that I'm a linguist. Fraud. Because let's keep it real. If I read about medicine, if I read many books about medicine, and I'm very familiar with medicine because I read books, I would not be justified in labeling myself an MD or medical doctor. Now you have the website called happyfilm.com. At the top left corner, you have About Us, you have Our Mission, Our Team, and Cast. And when you go down, or for the record, Dr. Leonard Jeffrey, and second row, you have Dr. Riketti Amen, the same lady that Osama Teb claims is wrong. And if you scroll down, we even have Zahir Awas who participated. We have Asaim Hotep. And what is he labeled as? Cultural theorist, Africana researcher. So on one website, he's a software developer. And another one, he's cultural theorist, Africana researcher. It doesn't bother me. He can be labeled anything he wants, as long as that's what it is. That's what he is. But you have noticed that when he's engaging people of the community, he's claiming to be a linguist, and he will disrespect you. He will grandstand on you if you don't agree with that. But with the real scholars, he cannot do that. You know? So that's one of the reasons why I, amongst others, label him a fraud. Now, that being said, he is very lucky because what I wanted to share was the video where people have taken the time to show his writings and to show the different books that he copied those writings from, the different books that he plagiarized. Apparently, it is no longer online. So if some people do have that video, please send it to me. This way I can, save it and share it as well. I regret that I did not share it, but it was well known. It was well known. So I might have shared it sometimes during one of the live stream. I might even have scrolled through it. I don't really recall, but I might have shared the video. But it was well known. Many people will refer to that video, and of course, it has not made any rebuttal. Uh, you know, you're busted. Your hand in a cookie jar. It's very difficult to do some linguistic breakdown to explain how it was not plagiarism. So that's why many times I say it's important to document, because this is one of the things that I lament. Sometimes online you will refer to some video or maybe some article, and then the website is no longer there, or the article has been removed, or the video has been removed. I don't know if it's the people who made the video that removed it. I don't know if there was some flagging or claim, or copyright claim. I really don't know what happened. Maybe the channel altogether was removed or deleted. Hopefully somebody will have it. But it is a known fact that beyond besides the fact that he is false flagging and fraudulently claiming a title that he has not earned, he has also plagiarized many times, and he's part of the team. Now, there's another thing regarding the University of Amen. Here it says revisiting Shekonta Diop and the centrality of ancient Nubia. Shekonta Diop positioned Nubia as closely akin to Egypt and the rest of Black Africa, and so on and so on. So, just like many different scholars, Shekonta Diop is held at high regards, high esteem. It's definitely honored and respected and appreciated. There's a great deal, great level of respect. But Asai Motep doesn't have a problem not only saying that Shekonta Diop was wrong, but not long ago he stated publicly that Shekonta Diop guessed when he made his comparative, his linguistic comparison. And that's a very strong charge and very bold coming from someone who doesn't have any degree whatsoever, whether it's the field of linguistics or even history, you know. So for those who don't know, I'm just going to share. Siki, one moment. I'm just going to share the link where you can hear Simon stating publicly. It's not a private conversation. This is public. Bear with me. Okay, I've shared the link. So, um, when you go to presenters, uh, you will have Dr. Jai Issa here. Then we have Dr. Salim Faraji. And we even have Brother Reggie. You see? So, besides saying that Diop was wrong and that he guessed, I can also show you a presentation dealing with Shekanta Diop. This is Saim Hotep's own channel. And the title says, sorry, Diop did not show his work on the word Kemet. Now it says here, we go over Dr. Shekanta Diop's chapter 5 of his Parenté génétique de l'Égyptien pharaonique et des langues négro-africaines, 1977. We will show that the necessary steps to do proper etymology was not taken in this text and why we cannot accept a priori Diop's argument that Kem equal Wolof, Hem, charcoal, and Kemet, black people, i.e. the blacks. This will be a linguistic workshop that shows the importance of showing your work, like in mathematics, when making the linguistic arguments. The video is 3 hours long. So hopefully somebody will share the video detailing the plagiarism of Asylum Hotel. He's a known plagiarizer. He's a known fraud for false flagging, claiming titles that he hasn't, claiming a title that he hasn't earned. I did share the video conversation between Asylum Hotep and Dr. Campbell. Um, we could hear Asylum Hotep talking about, reconstructing a living language, and Dr. Campbell told him that, that doesn't make sense. But when Dr. Campbell asked Asylum Hotep if he had some formal training in linguistics, Asylum Hotep lied and said yes. So he's known for lying. Besides him claiming that rise of volcano and that Allah is in the Egyptian text and that there were some Hebrews in Kemet. I don't know if anybody is aware of Hebrews in Kemet, historically. He used to say those Hebrews were black. Then he backtracked and said, no, they were not black. And then he backtracked again and said, yes, those Hebrews were black. That's fine. But you have a person fraudulently claiming the title he hasn't earned, lying about his training, saying that Sheikh Anta Diop was wrong and that Sheikh Anta Diop guessed because he happened to meet someone from Senegal who said that, well, we're not sure about the wall of words that Diop used. Someone that is not named. You just meet someone and then you're going to go publicly and say, well, Sheikh Anta Diop guessed. He also said that Theophile Benga doesn't have any degree of linguistics, but the University of San Francisco states that Theophile Benga has some degrees in linguistics. And besides, in Dr. Campbell's critique of Dr. Jahi Issa and Dr. Salim Faraji and Professor Osei's book, The Origin of Amen, in the critique of that book, Dr. Campbell states that Dr. Theophile Benga has formal training in linguistics. That's just for the record. So if you have a fraud on your team, why do you leave him on your team? Now, the book that Simon Hotep talked about, here it is. And you can see on Amazon, you have one used copy that sells for 680 euros, which is probably about $700. Hard to find book. In the book Nation et Agriculture, which was released, I think, somewhere around 1954, you have a shorter version in English, which is called African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality. In the French book, you have some comparison between the Wolof and the Medunetcher already back in 1954. Then, of course, we have the 1974 Cairo conference or symposium when Diop did his thing with Dr. Theophilo Benga. And then we have this book here. How many pages is it? 402 pages. Now, at one point in yesterday's conversation, Dr. Jais said that I did not read their response. And I told him that I have actually read the response. See? And I said, but it was after the live stream. Then he said, oh, after the live stream, as if it was a negative. He was looking for negative because, to make the long story short, some people have a hard time taking an L. And instead of accepting an L, they will try to find faults in the other party. Like I told Dr. Jahi Issa, in the own response to Dr. Campbell, he admitted that there were several mistakes, several errors. And it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It happens. Nobody's perfect. Dr. Campbell I think his critique of the book is about 20 something pages. But he did state for the record more than once that it's just a few of the mistakes, because there's so many mistakes that if you went over all the mistakes, the critique will be longer than the actual book. The book is less than 100 pages. I think it's like 89 pages or 90 at most. There might have been two publications, you know, or two versions, if you will. So if it takes 20 pages and the book is only 89 pages, I mean, you can imagine the severity, you see. So, of course, I stated that I had read the response, that I could not have guessed because I'm not psychic, and it's not even presented as a response or rebuttal to Dr. Campbell's article. I was told, I should have read the book, I should read the book. I ultimately asked, you know, if I'm allowed to read somebody's critique, and he did say yes, a bit sarcastically, but Now, as for Simon Hotep, who is comfortable uh, saying that Diop is wrong, saying that Diop guessed, and doing a breakdown and explaining why Sheikh Anta Diop did not use a proper method, the proper linguistic method, even though Simon Hotep is not a linguist, doesn't have any single degree in linguistics. Did Simon Hotep read Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop's book? This book is in French. To my knowledge, it has not been translated in English. Because when I read somebody's critique, I'm basically being told that I'm supposed to read the book. Now, your team member that goes around saying that Kem doesn't mean black after a title, saying that Kemet means riparian land, riparian country, and him and his crew who wrote a book about that hypothesis, they run around saying that the ancient Egyptians were not black. Apparently, that is advancing the conversation, advancing the work of Sheikh Anta Diop. Or maybe that's our people going 50 years back, as if the Cairo Symposium never happened. But did he read the book? At one point, when we talked, and I didn't really hear that because we're kind of both talking at the same time, because really it was mainly a monologue, but he had to get some stuff off his chest. He had to get some steam off, you know what I'm saying? Uh, so for the most part, I let him speak, but sometimes I wanted, really insisted in trying to say something. So sometimes we were both talking about this at the same time, and if you engage whoever, no matter who you engage, young brothers and sisters, sometimes because people might have, they might be older than you, or they might have some title that you don't have, and they will use that technique. They will talk way longer than you, and when you will try to talk, they will not let you talk. You see? So the fact that they talk the longest, might give an impression that they are correct in their premise whatsoever. And that sometimes, you have to affirm yourself and you have to speak, because you cannot just let people, throw jobs at you and you just a punching bag. But that being said, at one point when we talk about Assad being a fraud, he said, well, so just because someone is a fraud, then you're gonna label two scholars or two PhDs as fraud. You see, that's like, I did not really, catch that, so I could not respond to that, but I did not say that. However, for some people, if you associate yourself with known frauds, with a known plagiarizer, let alone a habitual liar, some people will consider that this makes you a fraud by default. I mean, to make an analogy, it's like somebody is working in the police force. He might be a commissioner or surgeon. He might have some title. It's not just a rookie cop. and he's just hanging with somebody that's committing crime or offenses on a regular basis. It's quite incompatible. So for some people, that will make them a frauds by default. But that's just for some people. But when we talk about academia, scholarship, rigor, standards, methods, structure, how does it look like? If you are a teacher, you have students, and in your team, there was a known plagiarizer. In the world of academia, it shouldn't even fly. It should not even be considered to have a known plagiarizer on your team, let alone someone who claims to be a linguist when he's not a linguist. He doesn't have any degree in linguistics, and he's been doing that for years. And then we have people who, talk about um, because errors were admitted in the response, but then it's like, oh, but we're doing it for the people. We deal with Nubia, and Diop is actually mentioned as well. Many times Diop is used by many different people, Abrahamic, non-Abrahamic. But here you have a guy, every chance he get, he's just, trying to vilify Diop's scholarship. All that because he has a hypothesis that was inspired by the book of another brother who wrote a book of linguistic, which is in French anyway, also, and that's Jean-Claude Mboli. I'm not aware of that book being translated in English. So that inspired them of saying that Kemet doesn't have anything to do with black or black land or black. It's riparian land / riparian country. So in that effort, they must say that Kem doesn't stand for black. And they have stated that even after a name, despite someone like James P. Allen, who shows, I think it's on page 9 of his book, is it Middle Egyptian? His most famous, most recommended book about the hieroglyphic language. I think it's on page 9. But anyway, he shows Henenit the Black, and he translates this as Henenit. I'm sorry, it's Henenit Kem, of course, Kem in Medu Neter. He translates it as Henenit the Black. But of course, James P. Allen is wrong. Dr. Briketi Amen is wrong. Dr. Diop is wrong. Dr. Theophilo Benga is wrong. Basically, all the Egyptologists in the world are wrong, but the Asaim whole fake, and he's part of your team. And you talk, and the Dr. Jahisa talked about, speaking engagement or something to do with Chekonta Diop's university. So Diop's name, his university's name is used to give, to give oneself some credibility, because you have many people, you can listen to them, they name drop. I know search and search. I knew that person for 20 years. I knew that I did that for, okay, all right, okay. What does that have to do with what we're talking about? You know. So if I say, well, I met Nelson Mandela, I kicked it with Barack Obama. I kicked it with Theophilo Benga. So what I'm saying is right, but it's just a tech. It's just a technique. It's just a tactic, you know. Of course, one doesn't need to be a linguist in order to address linguistics, but don't false flag. Don't false flag. Don't claim a title you don't have. You know. So did he read the book? Does he read French? How come you don't have a problem with him? Now, for the plagiarizing, I get it. I admit it. I cannot show and prove. The video is no longer there. Hopefully, somebody might bring it to me. But for the fraud, the false claiming, false title that has been going on for years, it is well known. And him saying that all these scholars are wrong is documented. We have that on tape. On his own channel, we have him going on about Diop, explaining why Diop was wrong. The nerves, without any degrees in linguistics, without any degrees in history, anthropology, any other field that you want, he deals with computer science. He still has the right, to touch on any topic he wants, but he doesn't get any heat. because he's part of the team. He gets a pass. That flies. It's cool. But I'm reading a critique, and I'm almost getting a lesson on how it works in academia. At one point, he also asked me, if I have some paper or something like that, and what I have, some scholars will have books, others will have articles published in journals, so that will be peer reviewed. But many scholars, and when I say scholars, I mean PhDs, will give conferences slash lectures, and they will give presentations. Some will use old school, old fashioned slides, but nowadays people will tend to use, PowerPoint or Keynote, whatever it's called, the Apple stuff, presentation. So it will be filmed and it will be published on some website. Many times it will be on YouTube. I have a presentation called Introduction to Kemet, the missing link in Black history. Today it is called Kemet and Ma'at. I also have another video that I recommend a lot. Well, I have plenty of videos, but when it comes to presentation, I have the one called Deception of Asiatic Black Men, showing that the fathers of the Asiatic black men are two white people, two white persons, showing that the Asiatic black men movement derived from Freemasonry. And I also have White Semite's Black Awakening. It's not so much of a presentation. I just go through artifacts with depictions of the Sumerians, Mesopotamians, and all that, people of Canaan, Arabia, and the Middle East, the Near East. So just showing that they are not white. I'm sorry, they are not black, because we have many people, many elder scholars. People have passed away. People are still alive. We've been saying that the Semites were black, and I'm talking about from 2500 BC until more recent time. I also have white, black Semite shocking revelation, and on this one, if I'm not mistaken, I show the Standard of Ur, because the Standard of Ur is dated 2500 BC. So I have that, and I have plenty of other material when I go to museums around the world. So I have some work. And you have also scholars who will debate in front of some public. Maybe nowadays, ever since the pandemic, the COVID-19, some will do it also online, but they will not necessarily, do it in writing, because people, like to grandstand. Also scholars do. We do that. We only exchange in writing. It's not the case all the time. There's plenty of PhDs that have debated, and it was not in writing. You see. So that's just for the record. I did not, go and ask for a debate. I just stated one piece, and that's about it. But the same thing that Dr. Campbell was accused of doing, haughtiness and stuff like that. I mean, people have ears; they can hear, and it's the same also that happened, when you have the video with Shaka Amos. And Dr. Jahi, started asking Shaka Amos, where did Dr. Ben teach? What department? Shaka Amos answered all the questions. Dr. Jahi Issa did not expect that. And Shaka Amos said, any other questions? And then later on, once again, I don't remember if Shaka Amos said, well, we can debate about this. And Dr. Jahi Issa said, well, if you want to debate me, I want you to write so many pages with footnotes on why you want to debate me. And Shaka Amos just replied, in other words, he doesn't want to debate me. If you want to debate this issue, don't tell someone you need to write a paper with so many pages and footnotes on why you want to debate me. I don't think you realize how arrogant that was, you know. So I was also asked at one point, what if Dr. Campbell was wrong? And I said he doesn't seem wrong. And he said, well, you see, that's bias. In your response, you did not even go around saying that he was wrong. In your response, you basically said he's focusing on linguistics, it's myopic or myopic. I'm not sure how you pronounce that in English. And we're doing some multidisciplinary work, but I don't recall you demonstrating that he was wrong. So it's all good to say, what if he was wrong? He stated his piece, you know. So I understand you want to defend the book. Your name is on it. You even have a website about it. But I'm not trying to talk like I want to give you a lesson. You're older than me and you have a PhD. I don't have that title. Your title is higher than mine. Academically, you have a higher status than mine. I'm just saying. I'm not here trying to kick it like I'm giving you advices or telling you what to do. And usually I say that I tell people, I'm not telling you what to do. Sometimes I might add, you're the master of your own destiny and so on. But that people can learn to take a L. It's just easier. It happens. Nobody's perfect. A lot of scholars, have admitted their mistakes. In the video, the main video on my channel that I recommend many times, Introduction to Kemet, I know there are some mistakes. And one of them, and I usually talk about this one, but there are others as well. When I say Sultan, I wasn't aware of the honorific inversion or honorific transposition, just like Egyptologists were not aware of it first. And that's why they would read it like that. Later on, they have more knowledge and they knew. I'm not gonna feel bad or some type of way or try to attack people because they point out somewhere, some area where there's some mistakes or some errors. But if someone points out some mistakes, you can respond and say, well, we're multidisciplinary. Such and such person say this. We're looking at the whole of Africa. Egypt is a child of Nubia, so at one point, I was told, I'm not qualified. I have to know the Meroitic script. I mean, and then I'm told, such and such has so many articles. And, it's as if, I was introduced to um, the website academia, .eu and all that. Read such and such. He has so many papers, stuff like that. I mean, that doesn't fly with me. That doesn't fly with me. You know. If you listen to people who tell you need to read this and you need to read that, then you're gonna spend your lifetime, reading some literature that will not help you, you know, because some people just don't know how to take an error. Okay, there are some errors. Thank you for the correction. You don't want to say thank you, fine. I'll keep it pushing. But I was being very diplomatic. But some people could label Dr. Campbell's critique, and I've stated I don't know Dr. Campbell. I'm not part of his team, contrary to Osaim Hotep being part of your team. Um, some people will label the critic as some intellectual butt whooping. It's like I said, it's not a good look at all. Taking those Medu Neter words, comparing them with some Twi words, and slicing the Twi words as it was done, it's not a good look. And when I hear, well, such and such he knows about linguistic, is one of the best linguists, he knows about Meroitic script, I'm like, I don't know what method was used. It looks more like linguistic acrobatics and linguistic gymnastics. So when something like that happens, it helps anybody that was critiqued to sharpen their skills, to sharpen their sword, and then come back stronger. But grandstanding, being condescending, and being sarcastic is just not helping at all. I have the right to read a critique. And once again, on your team, you have a known plagiarizer. You might dismiss that, but you have a known false flagger, known liar, who has for years claimed to have some title that he doesn't have, that he has not earned. That's not a problem. And he's going around critiquing the elder scholars. And like I said, Dr. Theophilus Benga, Dr. Shekanta Diop, Dr. Briketi Amen, Dr. James P. Allen, he's saying that they are wrong. Academically, he doesn't have any title near them. And that's cool. That flies. That's a huge double standard. That's a huge double standard. So, saying in academia, that's how we do and stuff. I mean, I kind of know how it works. I've been around for a minute. And in academia, plagiarizers, false flaggers, they are not respected. people try to get away from them, as far away from them as possible. It's not a good look if you have known false flaggers. You know, others went further. You know, we have that Moorish guy who showed a fake PhD with some spelling error. That's how far some people will go in order to um, claim a title they have not uh, earned. You know, who will associate themselves with him? I don't even see anybody's associating themselves with him, and it's understandable. But the Asylum hold fake. Like I said, I wonder, is it because of the university fraternity, those Greek fraternity? Is it because of that? What is the bound? What is the tie? Is it Freemasonry? What's the deal? Because scholastically, I don't see the point. I don't see the benefit. I don't see the logic. Whoever's teaching at university and has students and want to tell them about method and rigor and integrity and honesty, and on your team you have a known liar, plagiarizer, false flagger, I think you should refrain from telling people, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Clean house first. I would say you should clean house first before you want to tell people what they should or should not do. And once again, I did not make the critique. I read the critique, and I don't even think he understood that. Because when I asked him if he watched my video, he said yes, and I asked him in full. He said, "Well, he replied something to the effect. I'm paraphrasing, like I watched a great deal of it. I'm not even sure if he really understood that it wasn't my critic, that it was Dr. Campbell's critic. You know. So to whoever informed him about my video, thank you. That's a good look. I appreciate that. J'arrive. I appreciate that. We had a chance and an opportunity to dialogue. But people, I'm waiting to see now what will be the next moves. I'm waiting to see if people will continue to have frauds on their team. I want to see the integrity of scholars, PhDs, professors, teachers. I want to see their integrity. So stay safe, stay healthy. And if I'm allowed to, by the nature rule, I would definitely holler back at you, Hotel.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class, and all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Neter class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/Ma'at Forever.